Alcohol's effects on your driving ability, reducing driving risks, Part 1. Alcohol and driving are not a good combination. As you have previously learned from our previous videos and your driver's education materials, having a driver's license entails a moral and legal obligation to take all reasonable precautions to prevent harming yourself, other road users, or property. The only way to entirely eradicate the possibility of these incidents happening is to never drive. You run the chance of being in a collision every time you get into a car. The amount of risk you run while driving is not constant, though, and it is mainly in your hands. Keep in mind that driving is a privilege, and you risk losing it if you don't take all reasonable precautions to reduce the likelihood of a collision. Reducing the dangers of driving. You will be on the road to becoming a safe driver once you have finished your driver's education course and passed your test, but the trip does not end there. To make every journey you take as risk-free as possible, you must consistently remember and use safe driving techniques throughout your driving career. If for any reason, such as laziness, distraction, or intoxication, you fail to follow through with these strategies, you will start making more errors, any of which could be catastrophic. When operating a vehicle, you must always 1. Wear a seatbelt, please. Make sure you and your passengers are both wearing your seatbelts. 2. Be clear about your aims. Use hand signals, signal lights, and other suitable methods to communicate with other drivers when necessary. 3. Pay attention to traffic signal timing. Observe all surface markings, traffic lights, and road signage. 4. Control of the practice area. Keep a safe zone of space around your car. 5. Drive cautiously. Utilize defensive driving techniques to adapt your actions to shifting road circumstances and foresee issues before they arise. 6. Take charge of your car. Use safe driving tactics, such as braking gradually and placing your hands in the right places on the steering wheel. 7. Remain vigilant. When driving, be aware of your physical and emotional condition. 8. Keep up with your car. Maintain the condition of your car. Alcohol's mental consequences make you more prone to forgetting these crucial risk-lowering tasks. If you even miss one crucial step, you could put yourself in serious risk. For instance, you might rush to get in your car in the early evening when it's dark and forget to turn on your headlights. It would be incredibly challenging for other drivers to see your vehicle due to this minor error. Furthermore, if you fail to indicate before changing lanes, the driver behind you may swerve and collide with another car. When alcohol affects your memory, your chances of getting in an accident rise noticeably. Your chances of suffering a major injury increase if you also failed to fasten your seatbelt. While driving under the influence, there is a good likelihood that you won't be able to execute every important risk reduction approach because of the physical effects of alcohol. You could steer too erratically, brake hastily, or forget to press the brake pedal completely. As was covered in earlier modules of this video, even very tiny amounts of alcohol can impair your physical and mental capacity to operate a motor vehicle. Studies have demonstrated that even relatively modest blood alcohol levels can have an adverse effect on a person's motor skills, response time, reasoning capacity, judgment, vision, and consciousness. When you start drinking, one of the first things that will suffer is your capacity for logical decision-making. Poor decision-making abilities make it practically difficult to operate a vehicle safely. You are more prone to, after drinking alcohol, underestimate how dangerous a certain activity or circumstance is. Disregard the physical laws that control how your car moves. Overestimate both your own driving prowess and the maneuverability of your car. Make decisions based on your feelings rather than your intellect. Become sidetracked by things or events inside the vehicle or outside on the road. It's critical to realize that making poor decisions while under the influence of alcohol cannot be prevented. In order to do this, you would need to use strong judgment to realize that you are drunk and unable to think rationally. It is a circumstance where false assurance and a failure to see danger just cannot triumph against safety and caution. Never forget that the only safe driving decision you can make after drinking is to not drive at all. Alcohol's influence on a person's ability to drive. Alcohol-related driving impairment has been the subject of extensive investigation. One study contrasted a group of drivers' sober driving conduct against their behavior when under the influence of various alcohol concentrations. According to the findings of their study, intoxicated drivers were more likely to abruptly brake than to maneuver around a hazard, less conscious of how quickly they were moving, less capable of keeping a proper lane position. The effects of various blood alcohol concentrations on driving performance are summarized as follows. BAC of 0.02% to 0.05%. Drivers are less likely to see traffic control devices, crucial dashboard information, and vulnerable road users like bicycles and pedestrians due to a loss in information processing skills. BAC between 0.02% and 0.06%, increased risk of sleepiness. Driving when dozing off or having microsleep occurrences is more likely to happen. Driving at night or while already fatigued greatly increases this danger. A BAC of 0.02% to 0.08% impairs the ability to multitask. Drivers who manage several things concurrently are more prone to make mistakes. Tracking abilities and motor control are impacted by a BAC of 0.05% to 0.08%. Drivers are more likely to steer erratically, zigzag between lanes, or veer off the road than they are to position themselves accurately within a lane. As you can see from the data, several of the drivers evaluated for this study had a significant loss in their ability to drive at BAC levels as low as 0.02%. It's also important to note that none of the blood alcohol levels examined here exceeded the legal limit of 0.08%.